Long ago, in the gentle valleys of Tuscany, there stood a small but beautiful kingdom called Rosavelle. The kingdom was famous across Europe for one magical place, the living rose garden, a garden where thousands of roses bloomed in every color imaginable. Travelers from distant lands such as Florence, Paris, and Vienna came to see it. They whispered that the roses in Rosavelle were not ordinary flowers. They shimmered at sunrise and glowed softly under the moonlight. And at the heart of that garden lived a princess unlike any other. Her name was Princess Rosalina. Princess Rosalina had rose-gold hair that sparkled like sunlight touching petals in the morning. When she walked through the garden, the roses gently turned toward her, as if greeting their queen. The people believed she was blessed by the magic of the garden itself. But many years before Rosalina was born, her mother, Queen Eloane, wandered through the gardens late one night. As she reached the oldest rose bush, a glowing spirit appeared among the petals. The spirit said softly, "Your kingdom protects nature with kindness. A child will be born to you who will carry the life of this garden within her." Not long after, Princess Rosalina was born, and on the very night of her birth, every rose in the kingdom bloomed at once. The royal gardeners soon noticed something unusual. Whenever Rosalina laughed, the roses bloomed brighter. When she was sad, petals quietly fell from the bushes. It was clear the princess and the garden were magically connected. Rosalina grew up spending most of her time in the great garden. She spoke gently to the flowers and learned the language of the wind. The living rose garden spread across hills that overlooked the golden countryside, stretching toward Italy. Streams from the distant mountains of the Alps flowed through the garden, feeding the soil with crystal water. Sometimes Rosalina would sit beside the ancient rose tree at the center of the garden. "Why do you glow at night?" she would whisper, and though the tree never spoke, the petals would softly shimmer in reply. But not everyone admired the beauty of Rosavelle. Far away, beyond the forests leading toward Germany, there lived a sorcerer named Moonlight. He had once tried to steal the magic of nature for himself, but every forest rejected him. When he heard rumors of a princess whose life was tied to a magical garden, his eyes filled with greed. "If I control the garden," he said, "I will control the magic of life itself." One stormy evening, Moonlight arrived at the kingdom disguised as a traveler. The moment he stepped into the living rose garden, the roses trembled. Dark clouds covered the moon, and the petals slowly began turning pale. Princess Rosalina felt it immediately. "The garden is afraid," she whispered. Over the next few days, something terrible began happening. The roses stopped glowing. Petals fell from the bushes, the streams slowed, and the once vibrant garden grew quiet and weak. The royal gardeners were confused. The king called scholars from great cities like Prague and Budapest, but no one could understand why the magic was fading. Only Rosalina knew the truth. But before they could act, Moonlight revealed himself in the center of the garden. His dark cloak spread across the roses like a shadow. "Give me the magic of this garden," he demanded, "or I will drain it until nothing grows here again." Princess Rosalina stepped forward bravely. Her rose gold hair shimmered in the fading moonlight. "You cannot take the garden's magic," she said calmly. "It belongs to nature, not to greed." Morvain laughed and raised his staff. Dark energy spread through the soil. The roses began to wither faster. For a moment, Rosalina felt fear. If the garden died, the kingdom would lose its greatest treasure. Then she remembered something her mother once told her. The garden lives through kindness, not power. Rosalina knelt beside the oldest rose tree and gently touched its petals. "I will protect you," she whispered. At that moment, her rose gold hair began to glow brighter than ever before. Light spread across the garden like sunrise. The roses awakened. Thousands of petals lifted into the air, swirling around Rosalina in a glowing storm of flowers. Morvain tried to resist the magic, but the garden's living power was stronger than his darkness. The wind carried him away beyond the mountains, and he was never seen again. The moment the sorcerer vanished, the living rose garden returned to life. Roses bloomed brighter than ever before. The streams sparkled, and the air filled with the sweet scent of flowers. People from kingdoms across Europe soon returned to see the miracle from Venice to the royal courts of Madrid. And at the center of it all stood Princess Rosalina, the girl with the glowing rose gold hair. From that day on, she became known as the Living Rose Garden Princess. A princess whose heart was as gentle as a petal, and whose courage protected the beauty of nature itself. Moral of the story: true magic grows from kindness, courage, and love for nature.
Did you like this video? Hit subscribe for more powerful stories like this.